Hey, I'm Tanya, and I work in admissions and enrollment at Make School. For many prospective college students, the admissions process is really confusing and can be scary and daunting. At Make School, we try to make our process as streamlined and accessible to everyone as we possibly can. So let's talk about what is admissions and how does it work at Make School specifically. Before I dive into our application requirements, I want to talk about our approach to the selection process. So let's look at the admissions process at Make School. At Make School, we require the following items from all applicants. 1, written application. Be aware that our written application is free online for all U.S. citizens, permanent residents, DACA recipients, and undocumented residents, and approved asylees. You can access our written application online at make.sc/apply. 2, transcripts from each school attended, high school and college, or your transcript from a high school equivalency program or exam like a GED. We may also ask some applicants to complete these steps. Complete an admissions one-on-one call, submit 1 or 2 letters of recommendation, complete Spark, our programming puzzle for new coders. Make School does not use traditional metrics to measure our applicants. Our non-traditional hands-on program means that students who may not have done well in other more traditional schools often thrive in our environment. For that reason, it does not make sense to focus on GPAs and test scores as our primary review tool. Sure, we'll look at them and they will be factored into our decision, but in reality, GPAs and test scores are the last thing we consider. Instead, Make School is really looking for these qualities in our applicants: a strong work ethic, a passion for learning, a growth mindset, a collaborative spirit, a love for building things, a desire to solve problems or puzzles, and is excited to be on the forefront of tech. So how does Make School review your application for these qualities? The first step is your written application. In the written application, we're going to ask you some questions about yourself. What Make School is looking for in your written responses is whether or not you match with those skills I mentioned. We really care about who you are and what you've experienced and accomplished or hope to accomplish. Don't worry too much about grammar or spelling. Yes, writing skills are great, but we aren't going to throw out your application for a comma splice or forgetting to add an apostrophe to something. Don't worry too much about how you say something, but instead focus on what you're saying. Really help us get to know you. The second step in our review process is going to be those documents you'll need to submit. At Make School, we require transcripts from all applicants, but we accept official and unofficial transcripts for admissions. If you're submitting unofficial transcripts, you can upload them directly to your applicant portal or email them to apply@makeschool.com. Just make sure your unofficial transcripts include your name, the name of your school, all completed grades, and any in-progress grades. And these items have to be a PDF or a scanned copy of your transcript, not a screenshot or picture. These standards are the same for college students, current high school students, those no longer in school, or if you're someone who completed a GED or night school. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up an application and show you what that looks like. So all you have to do is go to makeschool.com or make.sc/apply, and it'll bring you to the application. When you start an application, you're going to log in and you will have to create an account, but once you have an account, that account will exist forever. I always advise having an account manager for all of your accounts because it's extra safe, but you do you. Once you start an application, it's going to autosave, so you don't need to worry if you somehow forgot something that you want to go back. As long as you haven't hit submit, you can go in at any time. It's going to ask for some basic information: name, birth date, your citizenship. This is really important that you answer this part as thoroughly as possible because there's some financial aid elements that come with citizenship. The academic overview, this is you going to be telling us, are you currently a college student, a high school student? Have you graduated from either of those? Did you do a non-traditional path like a GED? You can also click extracurriculars, after-school activities like jobs, any programming experience. We accept programmers at any level, so if you don't have programming experience, it's fine. If you do have programming experience, you're going to take the time to actually list what is there. So in your programming experience, make sure to actually write what it is you did. So maybe you took a class and you built a project. What was that project like? What skills were you using? If you have a GitHub, you can list them here. Test scores are totally optional. Then you'll continue. If you don't fill something out on a page, it will let you continue, but it will warn you at the end. So be aware of that. List every school you've ever attended. So if you've gone to multiple schools or colleges, you need to list every single one. We need what's called a full academic history. If you have classes that you think are important for us to know about, go ahead and list them here. So for example, if I wanted to list my school, I could put that I took AP English History, Bridge Community High School, Florida. Well, that's the wrong school, but you get the idea. In the short essays, you're going to be asked to select one of several essays. You'll end up picking 3 in total, and they're really whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't really matter if you think it's what we want to hear, because what we want to hear is about you. There's no cheat code or short thing that you can say that's going to guarantee an admissions at Make School. What's going to help you be admitted is be as honest and reflective of who you are and what you like. You also have the option to give us additional information. So for example, if you did really badly, maybe your sophomore year of high school or in a semester at a community college because something was going on in your personal life, taking the time to explain that can be really helpful for us, since those GPs and test scores aren't our primary tool. This is a short conduct thing. Every school has it. Demographics, these are totally optional. You don't have to inform us of any of these things, but we do appreciate it. Make School's mission is to uplift people from all identities, so it allows us to track if we're meeting our mission, but you're not required to tell us. Discovery, how did you find out about us? This just, again, lets us know where people are hearing about us. And your electronic signature, this is you making sure that you're telling us everything you've said is true. I've definitely been in situations before where I've found students who have plagiarized their application, and that is basically an automatic, you probably won't be admitted. In those situations, we have reached out to those students to see if maybe they're willing to rewrite their application or if they can do other things. But for the most part, if there's plagiarism, we're probably not going to admit you. So just be honest, take that time. You are really the person we want to know. Like I said, anything that's not filled out that we need, we're going to let you know. Anything that you need to fill out for us to be able to review, you won't be able to submit until it's fixed. These other things that are great, we don't technically need, but it's good if we have it. Save for later. So you can start your application and come back to it multiple times. That is how you do an application. If you want to submit official transcripts, you have a few options. If you're a current high school student or if you recently graduated, you can also email your college counselor, principal, vice principal, or registrar and ask them to email your transcript directly to apply@makeschool.com. Not all schools will be able to do this, but many can. Otherwise, you can just Google your school and the city or town your school was located in with the word transcript after that, like this. Bridge Community High School, Davenport, Florida, transcript, search, Bridge Community High School transcripts, boom, directions on my next steps will be listed online. Every school's process is different. Make sure to take the time to read your school's process. This process is going to be the same for college transcripts as well as GED. So take a look. If we do Dominican University of California, San Rafael transcript, it will give me a link right here. Same thing, I can then follow those steps. If I type in GED transcript request, same thing, it'll give me that link. So it's really simple. It's not super hard to order a transcript. If you get stuck on ordering a transcript though, you should reach out to our team at admissions@makeschool.com. Make sure when you order your transcripts, regardless if it's a high school or college transcript, that in the intended recipient line, you put Make School. That is super important for transcripts to be considered official. If you attended high school or college outside of the United States or its territories, or are an international citizen who is not an approved asylee or DACA recipient, please refer to our website since you will require slightly different steps, like submitting a course-by-course credential evaluation. If you want to send any of these documents physically, that is totally fine. They should be sent to Make School, Attention, Admissions 555, Post Street, San Francisco, California 94102. And as an important note, SAT and ACT scores are completely optional to submit. During your written application, as you saw, you can choose to opt in to submitting those scores. Do not feel pressured to submit your scores unless you feel it will dramatically improve your application. If you do opt into submitting your scores, we'll need to wait until you submit them, either an unofficial score report or an official score from the test agency to be able to review your file. So you've done the first two steps. You've written your application and your transcripts. What next? The third step is super easy. Wait. If we need any follow-up documents, our staff will reach out to you at that time and request them. I mentioned earlier that some students will be asked for additional documents or steps. About half of all students will be asked for one or more of those additional items so that we can give you the opportunity to show us the whole person that you are. Like I said earlier, Make School values traits like hard work, collaboration, and a love of learning. We use your written application and transcripts to gauge your academic experience and get an idea of your fit for our unique program. That being said, we know that GPAs don't always reflect a student's potential at Make School. For this reason, depending on your academic history, you may be asked to complete an admissions 101 phone call or you may be asked to submit 1 or 2 letters of recommendation so that we can learn more about you. The average time to get a decision is 2 to 3 weeks after submitting all of your required materials. We won't make any admission decisions without the required materials. And that is the admissions process. So you might be wondering, what are the possible admission outcomes? 1, admitted to Make School. This is us offering you the invitation to come to Make School. Again, being admitted to Make School does not lock you into coming here, but it does mean that you have the option to come here if you wish. 2, conditionally admitted to Make School. Some students might be conditionally admitted. This is when we feel really strongly about an applicant, but for some reason the applicant wasn't able to demonstrate all of our desired qualities that we like to see in applicants. Conditional admission allows students to start the program, but they have to successfully complete all courses they take in the first semester to be allowed to remain. This is super important as it allows us to admit students who would otherwise not traditionally be admitted. 3, application rejection. The number one reason a student is rejected is due to failing to submit their documents. Don't be that person. Get them in so we can review you. In the event you are rejected after submitting your documents, be aware that Make School admission staff will happily meet with you to discuss why we chose not to admit you and what you could do to reapply in the future. Remember, we believe in a growth mindset here. Well, what happens if I'm admitted or conditionally admitted? Are there things I need to do? If you are admitted and decide you want to attend Make School, you'll be asked to complete a list of enrollment steps. But do not worry about that just yet. You have to be admitted first. So let's focus on that step. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing all of your applications. Bye.